Well, this is probably one reason out of many why drones aren't flying here in Florida. As only the tough survive here in this beautiful free state, as a lot of people are asking the question, what are these drones? As some people are speculating that they are Iranian motherships, that they're Chi-Coms, that they're Russian, that they're aliens, that they're UFOs, or they're secret American surveillance technology that is trying to stop a dirty bomb or suitcase nuke. What in the world is going on here? Well, we're going to be doing our best to answer that, as a lot of the internet sleuths look like they have something to really consider that could be an explanation for all of this, and I think it's something major, something concerning, as clearly the information that we're getting from the government here is absolutely just filled with lies, distortion, and misinformation, as of course I think the true answer is a little bit more concerning, especially with the larger possibility here of something bigger at play here that the government is very quiet about, so they don't, of course, create panic amongst the general public. Now, in my opinion, that's a little bit too much of a nice explanation to give to the federal government that has a long track record of doing unethical experiments on unsuspecting citizens, committing false flags, orchestrating entire events in order to get general publics into war, and of course, almost every step of the way, screwing over you, the American taxpayer. So we're going to have our own kind of assessment on all of this, as already the memes have begun, as the future president of the United States just shared this particular image after he released a statement saying, hey, what's going on here, guys? The people deserve an answer, and the government's not giving us any. As he issued a statement 2 days ago saying, mystery drone sightings all over the country. Can this really be happening without our government's knowledge? I don't think so. Let the public know, and now otherwise shoot them down, GJT. As a lot of people now are thinking about the Chinese spy balloon controversy that, of course, engulfed the general public a few months ago. But this is definitely something different. There's something very strange about all of this. And luckily, with Donald Trump, we at least get to laugh about this current situation, as now there's even animated AI fake videos like this, highlighting the former very unpopular governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, getting his McDonald's deliveries through, of course, drones. As we know, a lot of private corporations like Walmart already have implemented trial programs along with Amazon that do deliver products and services to individuals through the use of drones. In Florida, an elderly man literally shot at one of these drones and was now issued to pay a $5,000 penalty. As we have to understand, what we're seeing right now has been slowly and surely escalating. And this is the important aspect that I think a lot of people need to understand here. As of course, on my social media feed within the last few weeks, and I think a lot of other people have been getting primed with a lot of videos and a lot of people coming out and saying, there's aliens, there's UFOs, here's this strange sighting, here's this strange video, or wait, hey, look at this weird video from this particular area. The footage that you're seeing right now is, of course, from China, where the government used drones there in order to, quote, sterilize local environments and put sanitizer in the air as they were spraying toxic disinfectant in largely populated areas in order to, of course, slow the spread, which didn't work here. It was absolutely idiotic and highlighted a larger calamity of government failure that, of course, we ultimately, as the citizens of this country, had to pay for. We not only paid for the creating the damn sickness, but of course we were left dealing with it, and then left dealing with the government's horrible decisions around it. But keep in mind, this video from China is going to be relevant to what I think is the most plausible explanation to all of this. As we have to understand here, the Pentagon literally issued a statement saying that the drones are not ours. Government officials in New Jersey saying they have no reports of anything resembling a plane in the skies, saying that a lot of these drones are untraceable, untouchable, and that they are freely operating within American airspace over military bases, strategic sites, and local law enforcement and other authority figures can't do anything about them. As we also have to remember throughout all of this, there is also a lot of disinformation and lies out there, as a lot of people are altering videos, a lot of people are posting fake videos, and dealing with this situation for many weeks on end now has been not that easy. especially as an independent journalist that usually thinks a lot of things are suspicious. And this whole entire saga has been suspicious to me from the very beginning, even before it got out there to the general public and all the local news stations that have started to talk about this. Since this is an ongoing thing that has been going on for quite a while. And even major news organizations have fallen for the trap of posting video clips of airplanes and planets and blaming them on these drones. There's also, of course, a lot of satellites also up in the sky as well. But let's be honest, there's also a huge uptick in extremely suspicious behavior that does highlight very unique, weird drone usage all over the east coast of the United States, from Washington, D.C. to New Jersey to New York. And we have to understand here, drone capabilities have been increasing and improving very dramatically within the last few years. We have seen, specifically with the larger proxy conflict in Ukraine, the use of drones is absolutely critically important to, of course, not only dominating the airspace, but the local ground troops that will now have PTSD with them for the rest of their lives with the humming of drone sounds above them. Now, again, as it's becoming more difficult to discern fact from fiction, especially with all the crap that the government spews, crap like this, by the way.
There's no question that people are seeing drones, and I want to assure the American public that we in the federal government have deployed additional resources, personnel, technology to assist the New Jersey State Police in addressing the drone sightings.
As he's shrugging all of this, saying, yeah, there's nothing unusual here at all. Don't worry, keep calm. As of course, the general public is going to be doing the exact opposite of that. As now, in the making of this video, the U.S. military has just confirmed drone sightings at an airbase in Germany. There's also other reports all around the world of suspicious drone sightings, as the latest information is now also coming from Britain, where UFO drones are now over U.S. bases there, as a lot of people, especially within the government, are, quote, baffled about what they're seeing here. Now, there's also other reports specifically detailing how some of these drones are literally landing near solar plant fields and sucking up the power, and other reports specifically from on-the-ground local news stations specifically describing how citizens are deciding to fly their drones near these very weird drones, and then very suspiciously all of their power just zaps out of their own personal drones, and they are of course forced to fly down and no longer could of course even see what's going on here, as the New Jersey Police Department even decided to fly their own drones to spot and track and find these drones, and they can't. This local news report just highlights the larger absurdity of this entire case.
Invited to join the Ocean County Sheriff Department. They launched their own drones to see if they could intercept the mysterious aircraft New Jersey residents have been reporting in recent weeks. The department says these mystery drones evade detection because they don't give off heat like regular drones. Why do you think that is?
We don't know. It's just something that we haven't, it's not something that we've had our hands on. It's not something that we've experienced.
Something they hadn't experienced until now. One of their officers called 911 after seeing 50 of them come off the ocean.
Advised after we made contact with that officer that there were 50 that came off the ocean.
50?
50. That was my reaction also. There were 50 that were coming off the ocean.
And this is a sworn officer?
A sworn officer, yes. We contacted state police, we contacted the FBI, we contacted the Coast Guard, at which point the Coast Guard went out with their boat, and they reported seeing 13 following their boat, and then the Coast Guard also advised that they went over them about 300 feet and had a wingspan of about 8 feet.
I see one right here. Did I see the same thing that officer saw?
So yeah, how do you quantify all of this? What's the larger understanding here? Well, let's extrapolate the little that we know here. As of course, a lot of people are reporting that these drones are about the size of a car. Some of them around 6 foot tall. They can't be tracked. There's no signal. There's no thermal imaging. At night, sometimes they decide to flash lights. Sometimes they don't flash lights. As consumer drones are taken down and have their energy and battery zapped when they fly near them. As of course, this highlights some really advanced high-tech stuff that, let's be honest here, our government could have, other governments could have, or other intelligent life could have too. Now, when it comes to the whole alien thing, personally, I used to be really into aliens and sort of believe in them when the government told us not to believe in them. But over the last few months and years, there has been a concerted effort of the government trying to convince us that aliens exist. And therefore, I'm a little bit more skeptical of it than I ever have been before. As again, these incidences of everything unfolding here, of everything that's happening here, is strange, but I think one of the most plausible explanations here And one of the biggest universal truths here is that the government is lying through their teeth, and they're making the situation that much worse. They're providing so much more panic, so much more fear, so much more speculation, as a New Jersey senator just came out and said that the feds are too fearful of public relation to tell the truth about the mysterious drones, as he hasn't told us exactly what he knows, but a lot of people are, of course, connecting the dots and making sense of all of this, as it's pretty clear here that with the government obfuscating a lot of this, and with the way that our defense systems have been kind of penetrated here, and the lack of questions here, that this larger drone operation, which is a major drone operation, is too large and too well organized for it to be any kind of foreign threat or outside life force entity. I'm sorry, it's just too big. It's just too much of an anomaly to be something that the government completely has no idea about. And in my opinion, I think there are sects of the government that know exactly what's going on here. And the best theory of what I could understand has been happening here is something that me and my friends were talking about. We were kind of debating whether we should even talk about this, but now a lot of people are talking about this already. And that is that these drones are looking for some kind of threat out there that could be either a dirty bomb, a small suitcase nuclear bomb, or another low-yield nuclear bomb kind of explosive device or chemical weapons attack that there could be a larger threat of, that these drones are sniffing out and trying to look for the signal of through, of course, their advanced mapping and scanning technology. As, of course, doing this operation with individuals would be extremely time-consuming. And if we're being generous for the government here, it is plausible that they are keeping it secret so they don't cause panic amongst the local populations that they're looking for this particular weapon of mass destruction in their own location. Because if I know that there's a weapon of mass destruction in my area, I'm just going to get out of the area. As that seemed like one of the more kind of logical explanations to all of this. As I think there's also even a bigger, more sinister one at play here that I'm going to get into in just a little bit. But this theory originally was floated out by Jersey Futures, whose account was deleted, that specifically explained that these are the drones that are being used here, as he described that these are American-made HPGE nuclear detection drones that could, quote, detect the presence of gamma rays miles away, as according to him, they are scanning for radiation and electromagnetic waves that penetrate and are able to be found through these drones. It looks like a Chinese company makes very similar drones like this, as another online anonymous account on Reddit says that these drones are, quote, a part of a military drill being conducted by the Space Force, and that everything is, quote, on a need-to-know basis, and that there's, quote, full additional lockout drills that are scheduled to take place between now and Christmas Eve, and that these operations involve the full turnover of all radio and radar aircraft communication in the military for several hours at a time, and that people are setting up some kind of big show for the public very soon. And again, this is just an online anonymous account, so take that with a grain of salt, to say the least. As we have other anonymous online accounts saying that these drones over New Jersey are experimental anti-hypersonic missile defense systems that are being deployed due to a credible threat of a nuclear attack on New York City. Again, anonymous sources, anonymous kind of accounts here, as we do have to understand the larger kind of geopolitical ramifications of everything that we're dealing with right now are very severe, are very big, and we have to understand the U.S. intelligentsia and the deep state and the intelligence agencies have been acting very erratic ever since Donald Trump's victory, and they have been making a lot of big moves. The move in Syria was a huge move made by them, as this drone news and information could potentially also be other things that they could be setting up in a way in order to either put in check or go after Donald Trump and his future presidency, so he doesn't carry out a lot of the orders that, of course, would put them in check. So preemptively, they are launching these kind of psyops, or even potentially the planting of these stories, of these particular events, to say, look, we're dealing with the tragedy here. Donald Trump, you can't fire all of us. We're dealing with a very severe situation that only we are capable of dealing with, and therefore you have to keep us in power and give us the ability to do whatever we want. As I think that's a possible potential theory here. As I've said previously beforehand, ever since Donald Trump won, even before Donald Trump won, people do not relinquish power freely and easily. There's always some kind of push and shove. And I think what we're seeing right now, if I could explain it, could be a larger potential false flag at play here, where either foreign enemies or domestic enemies plant dirty bombs, small nuclear weapons on the east coast of the United States that will be used as a pretext for larger foreign entanglements and wars that could be preemptively started by this administration that could really create a big mess for the future presidency, or they could be setting the groundwork for Donald Trump to have an absolute crap storm and a false flag attack to deal with him himself that could conveniently be blamed on the country that the Pentagon has been trying to bomb and attack for over 20 plus years. As Donald Trump's track record with Iran doesn't really highlight a lot of his more peace proposals that he's been talking about here, as even the Wall Street Journal is talking about how the Trump team is weighing options, including airstrikes, to stop Iran's nuclear program. There's also the larger conversations about Project Bluebeam and other usurping efforts on all of this. As we have to understand, the situation that we're dealing with right now, it's not a minor one. It's a major one. It's huge. That's why I decided to wear my Don't Nuke Me Bro t-shirt that you could also exclusively get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. By the way, get your orders in now. We have a lot of Christmas sweaters, so you could actually have them for Christmas dinner with all of your family members, particularly, hopefully, some liberal family members. We got some really great conversation starters and some amazing t-shirts that are a perfect way of starting a conversation in a real, fun, authentic, honest, real way. Again, lots of the shirts only available on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Some of them too spicy to show you here on this particular broadcast, as a lot of them, especially when you click load more and you see them, you're like, whoa, I can't believe I could buy that t-shirt. That you can, only on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. There's a reason we can't show you a lot of them, because if we did, I think YouTube would just take this video down. But anyway, those conversations more important than ever. Whatever's coming our way is going to be, I think, something major. This is not something that's going to come and go. This is something that we're going to be hearing about up until Trump's inauguration, if not for the many months and years to come, since I see the way that this has been primed. I see the way that people have been talking about this for months on end now. And this is something major. And this could be the last-ditch effort by the intelligentsia to still regain power, control, and influence that, of course, they do not want to relinquish. I really do think my inklings, my kind of initial kind of reaction after researching, analyzing this for 20 plus years, is that probably is more likely of a scenario here unfolding than anything else. What do you think is going on here? Let me know down in the comment section below, because I think your opinion is more important than ever. And I think we have to be vigilant. We have to be careful. We have to be extremely critical of everything coming out there to the general public, as I think we're seeing new levels of psyops that we haven't seen before that are complicated. And there's a crap ton of fake news and disinformation out there. Don't fall for that. And if you thought we did a good job navigating this larger minefield of craziness, share this video with your friends and family members. That is more important than ever. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys watching. And because you do, that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. Get a t-shirt, thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Perfect Christmas gift, especially if you have a crazy uncle. Thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Especially if you have any kind of Florida man in your life, thebestpoliticalshirts.com is the place to go to get the best gear that you can't get anywhere else other than thebestpoliticalshow.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys subscribing and getting this video out there and sharing it. And that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.